Prep Test 74, Section 1, number 17. And it says, how the, oh God, this one. Okay, I have to prepare myself. This question has come up just all the time, forever. Everybody always stumbles over this question. Wow, I mean, it's only from 2014. I can't believe, if you would have said, hey, Nathan, when is that Han Purple question from? I would have said, I would have guessed like 1990. No, not sorry, not that early. I would have said like 2006. Like, it feels as if I've been teaching this question forever. The truth is, this question has only been out in circulation for 3 years, 3.5 years. But I've looked at it a bazillion times because everybody always struggles over this question. I think I have a pretty good explanation for it. So we'll see if I can sell it to you. How the pigment known as Han Purple was synthesized by the ancient Chinese of the Qin and Han dynasties has puzzled scientists. The Chinese chemists employed the same chemical ingredients used for Han Purple in the production of a common type of white glass during that period. I'm like, okay, there's a mystery about how they made this Han Purple pigment. And then it says, well, they were using the same chemical ingredients used for this special Han Purple in the production of a common type of white glass, not purple, during that period. But it was the same chemical ingredients. So white glass and this Han Purple pigment. It says both were produced in processes that involved subjecting the mixtures to high heat and mixing in lead to decrease the melting temperature. Thus, here comes the conclusion. Now, this is always the part that I'm going to argue with. Thus, Han Purple was probably discovered by fortuitous accident during glass production. If you stumbled over fortuitous, that is unfortunate. Fortuitous means lucky, and if you didn't realize what that meant, then you're struggling because your vocabulary is not that good. My only advice for a poor vocabulary is that y'all need to read more, you need to watch less TV, and you need to read all the time. You need to start now and read all the time for the rest of your life. That's how you're going to get a better vocabulary. That's how you're going to get better at English. It's going to help you for law school. It's going to help you for the bar exam. It's going to help you forever. You need to watch less TV and you need to read books. Anything that you're excited about. I don't care what it is. Just get a book and read it. The conclusion is, hey, this was a lucky accident. Han Purple, yeah. Same chemical ingredients, same processes, high heat, mixing in lead. Therefore, we conclude that this must have just been a lucky accident. They were trying to make white glass, and they luckily discovered Han Purple. My objection to that line of thinking is, where's your evidence that they weren't doing this intentionally? And in fact, why wouldn't you hypothesize that they accidentally made white glass when they were trying to make Han Purple pigment? It's the same ingredients, it's the same processes. I get it that the white glass was common. Okay. But where's your evidence that just because it's the same ingredients and it's the same processes, that means that they were just, oh, well, it had to be. They were making white glass and they accidentally produced this purple pigment. That's the only possible explanation. I don't buy it. That seems very speculative to me. The question says, which one of the following, if true, would most strengthen the argument? So all I'm looking for here is, which one of these things helps the argument the most? Just, they're trying to conclude that this was a lucky accident. Yeah, no, they were making white glass, and then all of a sudden the purple pigment, boom, out of nowhere. That it was totally accidental. That's their conclusion. I don't see any evidence really for that other than it happened, with the same chemicals and it happened with the same processes with the lead and all that. But otherwise, why do you think that this had to be a lucky accident while they were trying to make white glass? Well, A, chemical analysis shows that most of the known fragments of both Han purple and the white glass were produced within a small geographical radius. That is going to turn out to be the answer. And the reason why, well, I'll come back to it. Let me get through all these other shitty answers, because you might not have liked A, but you can't like B or C or D or E either. None of them make any sense at all. B says, Han purple was used for luxury and ceremonial items, whereas the white glass was used to make certain household items. So what? You already said that the white glass was common. B says like Han purple was more valuable, I guess, or it was used for luxury and ceremonial items. Yeah, isn't purple like the royal color or whatever? And the fact that white glass was used in certain household items, so what? That does not provide any evidence whatsoever that they were making white glass and accidentally produced Han purple. It just doesn't help that argument at all. So we can't pick B. C says, the technique used for producing Han purple was known to very few people during the Qin and Han dynasties. And I say, what does that have to do with white glass? That has nothing to do with white glass. It has nothing to do with accidentally discovering Han purple while they were making white glass. Think about what they're trying to prove. They're trying to prove that this thing happened where one day some dude was trying to make white glass and accidentally produced Han purple. B provides no evidence for that. C provides no evidence for that. A provides shitty evidence for that, and I'm going to come back to it. D says the ingredients used in producing both Han purple and the white glass were easily obtainable during the Qin and Han dynasties. Who gives a shit? How does that prove that some dude was making white glass one day and accidentally produced Han purple? It's irrelevant. E says the white glass was found in more surviving artifacts from the Qin and Han dynasties than Han purple is. So what? Maybe the purple deteriorates faster. Maybe people like to steal it. Maybe they made less of it to begin with. Maybe the white glass is super durable. So what? How does that prove that some dude was one day making white glass and accidentally produced this Han purple pigment? It just doesn't. So this is exactly what I was talking about earlier, where this is one of those, all the answers are bad, but B and C and D and E are really, really bad. Those answers do nothing to this argument. Coming back to A, let's suppose that I am trying to convict someone of a murder. And let's suppose that the murder happened at the Dunkin' Donuts down the street. And let's suppose that I've got a guy that I think did it. And let's suppose that I can prove that he was at the Dunkin' Donuts at the time of the crime. That last bit, that this dude was at the Dunkin' Donuts at the time the murder was committed, does not prove that he did it. It's circumstantial evidence. But it absolutely does help me build a case against this guy, because in order to have done it, you have to be there. And so the fact that if I can prove, if I got to, I don't have a picture of him pulling the trigger, but I have a picture of him there in the parking lot 5 minutes before the murder. If I have that, it helps me to build my case. And that's exactly what A is doing. Remember what they're trying to prove. They're trying to prove that purple pigment was accidentally produced at the time that they were trying to make white glass. And A says, most of the known fragments of both Han purple and white glass are found very close to one another. You see what I'm saying? Doesn't prove it. I don't automatically win my case, but it strengthens the hypothesis. It strengthens the argument. It strengthens the case that, hey, maybe it was somebody was making white glass and accidentally came up with Han purple. Look, every time we have white glass, we have Han purple, and every time we have Han purple, we have white glass. We don't know which came first, but we do have the two tied together pretty consistently, which, again, does not prove the case here, but absolutely does help the case. That's why the answer is A.